Pantry, and so today I get to bring you along for a delicious fried rice. I call this a house fried rice because it's got 3 different proteins in it. You can make this with one single protein. You can make this vegetarian. I'm not giving you any exact stuff. It's all going to be super easy. So I'm going to do this because I want a portion control. And what I mean by portion control, not how much I eat, but how much I make. I'm that girl that if I have a 20-quart pot and I'm going to start soup and I say I'm going to only make 4 quarts, I will end up with 20 quarts of soup. Trust me, I will fill that pot to the brim. I have a big, huge cast iron wok, which I love. It was a gift and I absolutely love it. But if I get that out, I know I'm going to start adding more ingredients and I'll end up with a wok full that I won't be able to complete in the next few days. So I don't want fried rice for 3 days. I'm going to make enough for me and possibly my daughter and her boyfriend. I'll take the leftovers over there. And so I'm going to make a house fried rice that's absolutely delicious in the Micro Pro Grill from Tupperware. So I've got already pre-cooked 2 eggs that I cooked off in the microwave. And this is the breakfast maker. It's 1 minute per egg on 60% power. And then I've cooked off some basmati rice. I really like it because it stays separated. I cooked that off earlier. And I'm going to use some Thrive vegetables. I needed some red pepper in here for color and taste and some peas. You always have to have peas for a fried rice. So I'm just going to go ahead and refresh that a little bit with, spilled water, with my, there we go. Just enough to cover it. You really don't need any more than that. A couple tablespoons is really all you need. And then in this bowl, I have 1/4 of a red onion, some julienne carrots, 1 stalk of celery sliced up, and about a cup of coleslaw mix, a cabbage and carrot, red and green cabbage and carrots. Coleslaw mix from the grocery store. There's no need to spray this or anything, but I am going to get my meat started to what I call velveting. I'm adding, there's pork that I've cut up in bite-sized pieces and chicken breast, and then I also have a 1/2 cup of shrimp. These are already cooked, peeled, deveined, and tails off. Those are going in there too. So excited. I love this. It just is so easy. So all I do is I sprinkle the meat with some cornstarch. And that actually, there's a chemical reaction, and it actually will start to tenderize the meat. It keeps it very tender, or makes it very tender. So I'm going to let that sit for 5 minutes or so. While that's happening, make sure all the pieces are coated. And if you don't feel like you have enough in there, stir it again. Because usually two spoonfuls is plenty. The seasoning wise, I'm going to add some garlic, but I honestly, I'm going to add garlic and some soy sauce, and that's really it, and a little bit of Chinese spice. I don't put anything else because I want all the ingredients to stand out on their own, and then I taste all of it, right? Okay, so I've also got some green onions out here for to garnish at the end. That's how easy it is. So I'm going to get the meat in the Pro Grill. And I don't need any oil or anything, it's non-stick. I'm going to put the meat in the Pro Grill, not the shrimp, just the chicken and the pork, and we're going to get this started. And you really want to just about cover the bottom of your Pro Grill with the meat. So if you feel like you've got more than you need, then don't put all of it in there. I'm probably going to leave some of that out. I did not measure the meat mixture, so although it's not bad to have a lot of meat in there. I'm going to need about 1.5 cups of my rice, which there's 2 cups there. I dished out a 1/2 cup of the peas, the freeze-dried peas, and just a couple tablespoons of the red bell pepper, and they're already refreshed right now. So I'm gonna put the meat in the microwave and get it started first. We're gonna put this on the casserole setting so it stays up off the food and it'll actually work like an oven. This little unit has a receptor plate both in the lid and in the bottom, and they heat up within 2 minutes. It'll be up to 425 degrees. It'll never get hotter. I'm not saying you can't burn something in it, but it's going to be pretty constant temperature for you. It doesn't allow the microwaves to get to your food at all. And the nice thing is, I don't have a big mess with oil and grease and all that in my kitchen. Now I am going to add, after this starts the cooking process, I'm going to add some sesame oil because I love the flavor. If you don't like the roasted sesame oil, then you can leave that out. Or if you're trying to save some more calories. But for right now, we're going to heat this up and I'll get that going. 5 minutes in the microwave and I'll bring it back. Okay, so I just took this out and I put it in for 2 more minutes. I really want that meat thoroughly cooked, and oh, it just smells so good with the Chinese 5-spice. Give it another stir, and we're gonna go ahead with our peas and peppers, and they have a little bit of moisture. Not much though. There might be a half a teaspoon of water at the bottom there. Go ahead and put that in. Oh, it's gonna be so delicious. Did you guys want to come in close so you can see up close what I'm looking at right now? This is so good. Okay, so this is what we have now. I'm gonna add in a little bit of the green onion, not much because we already have the red onion, but you could use white onion. You could use, I'm using mostly the pieces. I want some of those to get warm through, and then I'll garnish with the rest. And then the shrimp are going to go in. There's a little bit of moisture with those as well, so I want to make sure. And I'm going to put these on top. So let me kind of flatten out my fried rice because these are still frozen. Some of them are still a little frozen. I'm just going to set these right on top. And the plate, the top lid will cook these or heat these through. It's gonna be so good, so good. Anyway, and then we can give it a stir before we serve it up. All right, let's do that. And on goes the lid again. Oops, in casserole position, and there you have it. Goes back in the microwave for, I'm gonna put it in there for 2 more minutes, and we'll be ready. Oh, you know what? We're gonna be ready to serve it up, but we need our scrambled eggs. We better add the scrambled eggs. I almost forgot. Let's add these eggs in. Those were about as easy as scrambled eggs have ever been. So I guess I'm not going to leave those shrimp on top. We're going to go ahead and stir that in because I want all of that. It'll heat up. It's really hot right now, but look at how delicious that looks. Doesn't that look good? And it's healthy. You can do this a low carb version and do it with cauli rice if you like that. Or you know, you could use brown rice. You could use anything you want, or you could strictly just do the stir fry or the fried rice without the rice. Just veggies and the meats. All right, let's put okay, guys, here we go. It is done. And it's got a little bit of a brown on some of the pieces. I don't even mind that. It's going to give it some added flavor. It smells amazing. Look at this. A house fried rice done in the Pro Grill. Very little mess, very little effort. It just couldn't be easier. And there's plenty here for 2, 3, 4 people, depending on what you're gonna serve with it. So I'm gonna dish up my serving, and it's not overloaded with rice, so it's not a huge heavy carb load. I'm not a very big eater, so this is about all I will eat, but I wanna make sure I get some of the peppers, and oh, it looks so delicious. Doesn't it look good with the little shrimp in there? Look at that. Okay guys, I'm super excited to taste this, but first I'm gonna add a little bit more soy because I like a little bit of salt. And I also like to add red pepper flakes, but for right now we're just gonna taste it just like it is. And Get a piece of some egg, some shrimp, and I've got a piece of chicken and some veggies. Oh, it's so good. So easy. For that size portion, you'd spend $15, $20 at a takeout. Really, really good. So using a half of a chicken breast, just about the same amount in pork, a half a cup of shrimp for your protein in here, and all those vegetables, it is so delicious. The celery still has crunch, the green and the red onion. It's perfect. So guys, I hope that if this inspires you to make this on your own, like I said, you don't have to use a Pro Grill, but there'll be a link down below if you're interested in looking at one, or any of the stuff that I used today. There are links down below. I've got my Thrive website as well. If you're wanting to put some freeze-dried stuff on your shelf, it's always nice to have on hand. I wouldn't have had peas handy. I normally don't keep them in the freezer because they end up freezer burnt. So the freeze-dried peas are they're actually my favorite, but they're a better option. Same with red peppers. That red pepper, I didn't plan this meal, so for me to have, and I would have only used a fourth of that pepper, a couple tablespoons of pepper. Then what happens to the rest of it? It goes wonky and you throw it out. That never happens with Thrive. So go down below, check it out, and I'll see you next time for another delicious recipe at Linda's Pantry. Bye!